Hello and welcome to the Yarnings Podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 59. It is Monday, June 8th, and it is a very warm 90 degrees here in Vancouver, Washington. I'm trying to keep the house cool so you can see the door is a little ajar. When the door is closed, it gets a little warmer in here. I've got a little fan by my feet, so hopefully I'll be able to filter out that noise for you. So I think I'm calling this episode Virtually Done. So welcome to new and returning viewers. I am glad you are here today. I hope you will be ready to sit down and laugh with me. So let's move into some life stories. First up, I did want to say thank you so much for all the kind episodes on the joint episode that Aaron and I did last week. That was really fun to do, and I think we're really excited about continuing to try to do that when we can and figuring out how to do it from afar, because we really enjoy getting to chat together. And so thank you for all of your nice words. And if you're checking me out because you watched the Anatomy of Knitting joint episode, I am glad you're here. Alright, so life stories. I had a very busy week. My husband was out of town, and so I did a lot of walking and commuting myself to places that way, and it was just an overall hectic week. Yeah, just all the activities and doing it on my own and trying to stay afloat. But then this weekend was a little more low-key, and that was very nice. We got a few things done, and then on Sunday I rested and got to go see my parents' new pool. They have above ground, pretty large pool in their backyard now. It's got a little porch deck area for people to sit on, and yeah, it was just lots of fun. And I brought my knitting thinking I would sit on the edge of the pool and knit, but I just was so into playing with my feet in the water and talking to the kids and everything else that there was no knitting done. I don't think I have any other life stories to tell you about, but I think we'll just move along to the yarnings and some adventures in knitting. So, as you guessed, the episode being called Virtually Done means that the bamboo tank that I'm wearing isn't quite all the way finished, but I'm wearing it anyhow. So I'm going to step back so that you can see. Let me push my chair out of the way here. I can't go back too far, but the part that is not all done is all of the ends are not woven in. So let's see, has a nice waffly lace. I'll have some pictures on the Ravelry page. I put grosgrain ribbon on the straps as Aaron had suggested, and I think that was a very good idea. I also made a cord, just a braided cord with there's another end, with the rest of this pink that I used in the back. So I did a segment in the back to lengthen it up and attach the straps. And so then I used that same pink for a cord for the underbust and overbust, which kind of gives it a little more stability. I really like how it flows. The neck area, because I put the grosgrain ribbon, feels a little bit tighter than it would have just stretched out. I didn't quite stretch the knitting enough when I was measuring and sewing. It's fine. It's just a little bit, I think that when I wash it and weave in on the ends, it will lay a little flatter in the back. This part right here is just a little bit tweaky when I move my head. But it's not bad. I did rip where I had connected the back. I took out the stitches and added some more length because it was just not quite as long as it was before I put the ribbon in. Having said all that, though, I really like the style of it. I'm just wearing a simple Razorback black tank top and a Razorback bra, and that looks really nice with it, because I wouldn't want to wear this with nothing, because I do have all the little eyelets, all the little holes in there. So having a tank top that mimics that line. So the details on this are, it was Classic Elite bamboo. It's 100% bamboo, and it had been in my stash since 2010, and I thought that it was a sport weight, and it was actually a worsted weight. So I had 770 yards, and I used all of it. There's a little swatch. That's the extra that I had left besides. Yeah. So I went all the way with the straps as long as I could go, and I could have ripped out the swatch and used that if I had needed to, but I think I got it pretty close. And I knit it as long as I could to the bottom, and added just, let's see if I can show you. There's a nice little faux peak. It's just a little bitty picot edge on the edge. So yeah, I think this will be nice. It is heavier, so it probably won't go with me on my trip, because I want lighter weight things to go to the warmer part of the country. Even though it's really warm here, this is not the norm. If I get too warm while we're filming, I'm going to pause and change my top, but I think it's okay. The bamboo is nice, and it was really nice to knit with. It knit really fast, so it was a good use of that yarn. So, virtually finished the bamboo tank, just a totally improvised pattern by me. Okay, so the next finished object, I have multiples. Well, again, virtually finished, are my celebratory striped socks. Pretty crazy looking on the screen. Again, I don't think they look quite as contrasty in person. I still need to fix the one stitch that dropped. So that's the virtually, and I need to weave in the ends and take some pictures, but they are off the needles. This is Thoroughly Thwacked, her MCN self-striping, let's see, superwash cashmerino nylon. That side, Thoroughly Thwacked. In the Tutti Frutti colorway, I got this on the Rose City Yarn Crawl this year, and cast it on my birthday month. So those are done. And they're so soft and nice. I'm really looking forward to wearing them when it's a little cooler. Alright, one more finished object. Oh, this actually kind of matches. It sure does. This is my donut squared cowl, and it is 2 colors of Knit Picks Felici. I'm spinning it around so you can see the color changes. So I saved enough of the first color. This is where it ended, where I started it with the blue, so that I could finish that stripe with the second color and graft them together. So I cast on, I think, 60 stitches and made a tube, and then turn it into a tube, so it's squared as in exponential. And yeah, really easy. I knit on it during Avengers, and so I've got that memory in there. It was just excellent autopilot conversation knitting, and I really like how these colors work together. It's just super fun. So I will enjoy wearing this. I still have a skein of each of these colors, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I really had fun making this one. So that's my donut square cowl, and that is completely done because all the ends got woven in after I grafted, and the other ends, there were 2 ends from switching colors, those all went inside. Yay! So both of these self-stripies will go for the Stuck-in-It Zombies self-stripy which I don't know if I've actually entered any of my striping this year into their thread. I should do that so that I can be eligible for some more prizes through the end of the year. So those are finished. So that brings my stash total. So I did those two things, this one, and my wristers that I sent to my friend. All of that together is 1,774 yards. If I can see my little post-it, towards stash. I guess that I should just go ahead and lead into that. For stash, you just have to finish something, so I need to weave in the ends, and take some real pictures. But most of these things, that gets me almost 2,000 yards towards stash. Stash is a annual thing run by the Knit Girls, in case you haven't heard on all the other podcasts, where they challenge you to count what you're knitting during their summer break. So the end of May to the end of August, or the beginning of September. I don't have that time frame in my head yet. It'll be right here. 5/22 to 8/14. August 14th. So anything I knit during that time period, enter it into either the 3K, the 3,000 meters, 5,000 meters, or 10,000 meters. So I need to convert 1,774 yards into meters, and then that's what percentage I am at so far. So, not bad. All right, so works in progress. I am calling these my round socks. This is On the Round. I don't see where, there it is. On the Round, artisan yarn and fiber. This is, I have another tag. That's just the card. I have another tag somewhere right around here that it is sensational sock or spontaneous sock yarn. There we go. So it looks like that in the ball, and I have two little halves of feet. And I am still unsure about the little circulars. I got a little faster over the process of the week. It might be a little easier with yarn that is less grippy. Just still definitely takes me a little more work to move my yarn forward as I'm knitting. And I usually keep my hands pretty close to it, so it's really hard to show you. Maybe from, I don't know, this way. So I'm just not used to not having that much space for this hand to grab onto because I knit continentally. I'm doing it. It's just not quite as easy for me to do it without paying attention as it is for some other projects. So, working on those. I did put a lot of work on them in the last week because for the most part of the week, I was so busy that I didn't have a chance to even knit anything besides the bus. So this was what I carried along with me on the buses. This coming week, I'm hoping I'll have a little more relaxing time and the possibility of actually doing things, because the things that I finished this week were really very, very close last week, and yeah. The things that I did today for this tank, I spent about an hour on grafting the donut cowl when I finished it, and the socks, they just needed to finish the ribbing. So again, less than maybe an hour's worth of, maybe a Stargate worth of work to finish them up and bind them off. So yeah, very small amount of knitting time this week. But I did on Saturday night cast on something else new. This is the start of my voyage. I don't know. Move that so you can see. This is in my awesome alpaca, kilopaca yarn, and it is the start of the Viajante by Martina Bem for Knit More Girls Pay Along. I was a little further than this. You can see that there's some wound back on there, and I didn't like the symmetric, the way the increases were not so symmetrical. And I think it's going to show up more when I'm on the stockinette, but I wanted it to be consistent all the way through. So I went back. I wasn't that far, and now I'm doing the increases as it might make one that's a backwards loop and it make one that's a backwards loop that you flip around. So the yarn comes from one side on one, the other side on the other, and which is a technique that I've seen in another one of her patterns. So, wee little start. When I wound off the yarn for this is alpaca from Peru, from my friend Angel. I put it on a scale, put the cone on a scale on the floor, and then wound the yarn on my ball winder into a ball so that I had about 200 grams here, which I think is going to be about the right size of the shawl, the wrap for me. Some of them are quite generously sized, and I'm not that tall, so I can't have it be as long as some people do. So I don't think I'll need a whole 300 grams. But if I don't have enough in my big giant ball that I have here, I have more. I think that I may add beads to it. In my project page on Ravelry, I'm calling it the Well-Traveled Viajante because the yarn came from Peru and it's going with me on my trip. So it will go to Minnesota and Illinois. And through Wisconsin, I guess, if you want another state in there. And Washington and Oregon. So, well-traveled. So I'm really excited about that. And then I cast on one more thing, because I was finishing all the things. So I needed to get this started so I can have it as a gift when I go. And this is another harmonize. I have an end that is caught here. This is going to be the long length of my harmonize pattern. So you can see all the stitch markers, but they make it actually less intimidating than no stitch markers. So I am on the second or third row of this, and the other ones just have zoomed right past. So I think this will not take me too long to get moving on it. This is in the Manos del Uruguay Alegria that I made the wristers. Same friend. So that is moving along as well. There's all my chapsticks. They're all in the bottom of this bag. Those are all of the works in progress. I need to get some sort of a garment on the needles, but I haven't decided which one. I might get a shawl on the needles. I need to wind up the yarn that I wanted it for socks while I'm on my trip. So I have a lot of plotting and planning that I need to do, and I'm just not quite there yet. So hopefully this week I'll get a little more organized with all the stuff that I need to do and be better prepared for the countdown that is Zombie Apocalypse 2015. I'm going to that retreat. It is in Rochester, Minnesota, and that will be 2 weeks. I have 2 full weeks until I leave for my trip. And I am teaching some classes. I'm part of the designer showcase. I'm going to be an ambassador and part of the podcaster panel. And so I'm trying to be as active in it as I can and spend as much time with all of my great friends and meet some new people along the way, and it will be really good. So from there, then I go visit my friend near Chicago, and then I'll come home after that. So it's going to be a fabulous trip, and I cannot wait. I'm hoping that I will still continue a podcast next week, and perhaps some mini podcasts while I'm gone. We'll see how that works out. I'm bringing my laptop with that hope, so we'll see how that goes. So that kind of brings us into knitting community, because I had Stash Dash and ZK, Zombie Apocalypse, underneath that header on my paper. We have a new prize for the conversation knit along. We have a very, very generous donation from Michelle of Very Colorful Yarnings. She has a very nice name to her business, doesn't she? And she has given us some skeins of her self-striping. This is her card. You see all her Very Colorful Yarnings on Etsy and Ravelry. This is saturated sock self-striping, which is 25 nylon, 75 merino, 463 yards. This is amazing. It feels so good. And look at those pinks. So there's a white and 2 different pinks in there. And self-striping. So she dyed this up specifically for us. I have several of them. And one of them will be a prize for this quarter of the Conversation Cow. So that's really awesome. And then I think that I'll also be doing another prize drawing after I get back. So that I have that you'll look forward to. But this first one will be for the conversation knit along. Isn't it beautiful? So, if you have not participated in the conversation knit along, we have several prizes now, and you should go and post what you are knitting that works well when you're doing other things like talking, playing games, cooking, watching TV, movies, podcasts, whatever you're doing that you are able to multitask, possibly something you don't have to look at a pattern, vanilla socks. All you have to do is go and participate in the thread. This current quarter is ending at the end of June, so you should get your information in. It doesn't have to be a finished object. But you do have to be a member of the group to enter. There are more specifics in the thread on our Ravelry group, so go check that out. And thank you so much, Michelle, for being so generous with your prizes. We really appreciate it. The Yarnings community is very excited to be supported by Very Colorful Yarnings. All right. I think that's the end of the knitting parts of our podcast. So let's move into some sagas of geekery. All right. So now playing. Eric was gone. I didn't play anything while he was gone, but this weekend we played Rule for the Galaxy and Legendary. The new mini games that I mentioned last week on my episode with Aaron. This is the set of games that we bought 2 weekends ago. They have rubber bands on them and sleeves inside and everything because Eric took them on his trip. So, we have Sushi Go, and this one, Rebecca just recently on Fiber and Dice did a walkthrough of how you play this one. So, if you're interested, go check out, it's either her most recent or the previous episode. I will link to which one it is. But it is a very cute game. It even works well with 2 players. You use a dummy player, and I told the story about why we call the dummy player Dirk in our game over on Rebecca's forums, if you're interested. So it's got these cute little colorful cards on it. So this one will be coming with me. These three will all be coming with me. We also got the Great Heartland, which is a very simple shipping delivery game where you're picking up cubes from one location and bringing them to another one. You have cards, so the layout changes each time, and so it's a really simple one to introduce people to a pickup and delivery mechanism. Really basic, easy to explain. And that one is probably my favorite of the three out of what I've played so far. Harbor, I played for the first time at GameStorm this year, and it is very cute. They have silly descriptions for things. You are trying to collect and exchange goods, manipulate the market, and purchase buildings in the harbor. So once you've built buildings in front of you, then you see who gets a certain number of buildings, I think, and then you total up their value. So it's got cards and cute little tokens. Let's see if I can show you without. So it's got little tokens for the goods, and then there's little guys, and they kind of look like Krusty the Clown, I think. And then we sleeved them all so that they will stay nice. So these are my 3 new mini games. Isn't that a cool collection? I was really excited to find. We had played the Great Heartland at Guardian. I had already wanted to get Harbor and Sushi Go. And I even bought Sushi Go before I watched Rebecca's review of it because she's got a fiber along, the yarn along maybe, that's going to be going on, and Sushi Go won for a colorway that was going to be invented. So I was excited to have Sushi Go so that possibly I can knit or spin the corresponding colorway. Besides that, now I've just been watching Stargate, but very slowly because there just wasn't time this last week. I'm in the middle of season 7, and I know that we're getting up close to where I will integrate alternating Atlantis and SG-1. All right, how about some Book of Cooking? My only real thing that I was going to tell you about is we had stuff out of the freezer because we got a new refrigerator. And so we were trying to eat some of the stuff out of the freezer beforehand. So I made frozen ravioli, frozen meatball, and frozen corn. But then I put fresh basil on top of all of it. And it actually really made everything taste better. I mean, it was all good stuff. It was fresh stuff and deliciousness. But having the fresh basil sprinkled on top of it really made it more delicious. Okay, how about some fanciful chatter? I have a new lip color because I haven't had enough lately, apparently. But I had to get the Retro Red from Perfectly Posh. This is part of their Pretty Lips. And I showed you my Dark Darling that I'd gotten before. I had a little impromptu online party and was able to get a few new things, and they arrived today. So doesn't this color match my coral in my melon coral color nicely? I think that it's the perfect match. It's a little darker in the pot, but it goes on about that color. That's putting it on pretty nicely. And it smells like strawberry lemonade, I think. I think that's what it said. That's what I'm remembering. But Retro Red, very nice. I also got some other stuff, but I haven't had a chance to play with it all yet, so that will perhaps be another week's installment. It's kind of fun to have some new stuff to try out and new natural scents and just having fun experimenting with what I like, all that. I also forgot to show you after my birthday extravaganza episode. You've seen Willow. I mean, you've seen Kaylee, and Willow has come to join her. I found Willow on my birthday extravaganza. Two of my favorite Joss characters sitting on my desk. So now I saw today that they are making a Peggy Carter, which I think she's going to have to join these two, possibly with Coulson, maybe Black Widow, Natasha. They aren't all quite Whedon characters. Peggy isn't, but Whedon adjacent. So, yay, they're so cute. And they've been sitting right in front of my window and guarding it for me. No, when I open and close the window in the morning so that it gets some fresh air in here, they move a little bit and I'm like, oh, hi. They're cute. All right. Happiness continues. I have 3 things. First one, wick wick. What you can when you can. Is the book still sitting here? It is. What you can when you can. Taking advantage of moments that seem not so great. I missed my bus for yoga this week, and there was no time to make it any other way. And I was bummed because I really liked my yoga class. So, wick wick, I took advantage of the time. I still got in a lot of steps by going to the mall and getting some new clothes. It's amazing how much activity you can get in walking around and around and around and looking for just the right things and trying on clothes is a aerobic exercise the way I do it, apparently. I get very warm, and it just definitely was a good use of my day that wasn't turning out how I thought it was going to. I still was able to wick my day. So that's one. Second, I saw an amazing rainbow on Wednesday night. It was really bright in the window where I was, and we went outside, and it went all the way across the sky. It was so pretty, and it just brings such hope to my heart that there are good things to come. Makes me happy. And then the third thing, my Fitbit. I showed it to you briefly last week. I'll show it to you again because I was not in a very good angle. But you can see that's how many steps I'm at so far today. And I've just been around the house cleaning and stuff. I'm not so concerned about getting to anybody else's goal. I am using this as a point of context so that I can judge my activity. Judge, oh yeah, I guess I have done a lot today. Maybe it's time to take a break. Or, oh, well, maybe I haven't done a lot of steps. Still feels like my feet are good. Let's go for a walk. Those kind of things. So I'm hoping that it will help me make some good conscious decisions. It'll give me some data on my heart rate, my sleep, and just kind of give me some good context. And I have a Fitbit twin. It's the very same one. I don't know if she wants me to tell you, so I'll just say, hello, Fitbit twin. So those are my three happiness continues for today. I always love sharing those with you guys. All right. I don't see anything else on my piece of paper. I did feel quite disorganized when I was putting it together, so there might be other things behind me that I don't see anything important. So I think I'm going to call that good for today. And I'll tell you how you can follow me around on the internet. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. You can follow me on Instagram as KDLB, just the letters. The Ravelry forum is listed as Yarnings Podcast, and you can see the show notes with links to everything I talk about at yarningspodcast.com. So, until next time, that's the story. Bye.